Driving under the influence of alcohol causes fatigue, stress, and aggression. Part 1. When you're upset, scared, apprehensive, or disturbed, you can't drive safely. An intensely negative mood will immediately interfere with your ability to maintain focus while driving, influence the decisions you make in response to situations on the road, and change how you behave towards other motorists. Driving requires a relaxed, upbeat mindset. You might not be able to handle information clearly and are more prone to make mistakes while you're experiencing strong emotions. Furthermore, particularly risky aggressive driving conduct is frequently a result of intense unpleasant feelings. Even extremely happy feelings while driving might be dangerous. Extreme joy or elation, for instance, may lead to overconfidence, which leaves you vulnerable to deadly mistakes and underestimating the risk of the road. Alcohol affects people's emotions, frequently in unpredictable ways. Alcohol intake will affect both your physical and mental abilities to drive, as well as your ability to be composed and upbeat while driving. Your emotional fitness is impacted by alcohol consumption both immediately and over time. Alcohol can amplify feelings you are currently experiencing while it is in your system. For instance, if you had been unhappy over a minor fight with a friend, drinking alcohol may have made you feel even worse about it. Alcohol has a general negative influence on mood over the long run. Your general emotional health will decline the more frequently and heavily you drink. Mood and alcohol, contributing elements. Alcohol's impact on mood is much more unpredictable than its effects on the body and brain. Everyone reacts to alcohol differently, and no one can predict whether their reaction will be consistent over time. Even if you drink alcohol 9 times out of 10, you might behave rudely and aggressively on the other one. Alcohol consumption affects a person's emotional swings in a number of different ways, including 1. Alcohol-related experience. Regular drinkers may be more prepared for the mood changes that frequently accompany alcohol intake, making them less prone to respond in a severe way. 2. Alcohol kind. Some individuals discover that they react differently to various alcoholic beverages. It's possible that beer, wine, or hard liquor make you feel more hostile than other alcoholic beverages. 3. Tiredness. Fatigued people are more likely to react to drinking suddenly and dramatically. Additionally, when alcohol is present, physically bad emotions, such as excessive fatigue, lethargy, aches and pains, frequently translate into emotionally negative emotions. 4. Disease. An individual with a weakened immune system is more prone to experience a more severe alcoholic intoxication-related reaction. 5. Medication and illicit substances. Alcohol and the majority of prescription, over-the-counter, and illicit substances interact in one way or another. They might cause you to become more or less drunk, feel sleepy or have some other unexpected effect. Drugs that affect mood or cognition pose a special threat when combined with alcohol since they may cause an intense emotional response. 6. Mood. The attitude you have when you start drinking has a big impact on how you feel after drinking. Even while drinking can instantly convert a good mood into a negative one for no apparent reason, drinking is especially risky if you are already angry, frustrated, or depressed. Alcohol activates the area of the brain that controls these emotions, making you more prone to exaggerated rage, despair, and the risky behaviors that go along with these emotions. 7. Character. Different personality types are more or less affected by alcohol. When drinking, it's common for suppressed personality qualities to surface that don't seem to fit with the drinker's sober demeanor. An extremely quiet and mild-mannered person, for instance, could turn boisterous and violent, while a self-assured and outgoing individual could have worry and self-doubt. 8. Psychology. Alcohol typically has a severe negative impact on someone who already has psychological or mental health problems, such as anxiety, OCD, or manic depression. Tolerance and adaptation to alcohol. Regular drinkers develop what is known as an alcohol psychological tolerance. Although tolerance does not make a person less susceptible to the negative effects of alcohol intoxication, it does indicate that they may react to alcohol in a different way. If you were to start drinking frequently and develop a tolerance to it, you would gradually discover that you needed to drink more to get the same benefits as you did when you first started. This tendency frequently causes heavy drinkers to greatly exceed the safe blood alcohol limits while still managing to appear relatively sober since they will have acquired compensatory mechanisms. It's crucial to realize that having a tolerance for alcohol does not make you any less intoxicated. You may appear reasonably sober compared to a novice drinker who has drunk the same amount of alcohol, yet you will still be unable of operating a vehicle due to your mental, physical, and emotional state. Additionally, studies have shown that those who are more tolerant of alcohol may be more likely to be involved in a drunk driving accident. They are no more capable of handling emergencies than intoxicated drinkers, yet they are more likely to mistakenly feel they are fit to drive. Increasing harm. As you start to use alcohol more frequently, your tolerance will rise, however it won't stay there long. Your liver's function is to remove alcohol from your blood and transform it into less dangerous compounds. Large alcohol use and excessive alcohol consumption both stress the liver and eventually cause irreparable liver tissue damage. Your liver's ability to metabolize alcohol will be compromised if it has been damaged by heavy alcohol usage. Because of this, long-term heavy drinkers eventually reach a point when they are less alcohol tolerant and experience more severe mental, emotional, and physical side effects from drinking. Driving under the influence of alcohol causes fatigue, stress, and aggression. Part 2. Increasing harm. As you start to use alcohol more frequently, your tolerance will rise, however it won't stay there long. Your liver's function is to remove alcohol from your blood and transform it into less dangerous compounds. Large alcohol use and excessive alcohol consumption both stress the liver and eventually cause irreparable liver tissue damage. Your liver's ability to metabolize alcohol will be compromised if it has been damaged by heavy alcohol usage. Because of this, long-term heavy drinkers eventually reach a point when they are less alcohol tolerant and experience more severe mental, emotional, and physical side effects from drinking. Drinking and stress. While moderate stress can improve performance in high-risk situations, excessive stress can cause worry, nervousness, impatience, and other negative emotions that impair performance and make you more prone to errors. Nervousness or worry may cause you to drive too slowly, overreact to small errors, or make allowances for potential dangers. Distraction and sadness might cause you to forget important driving procedures like signaling, monitoring your blind areas, or scanning the road in front of you. You may become frustrated with other drivers if you are easily irritated. It can soon develop into aggressive driving habits like speeding or tailgating if allowed uncontrolled. In order to prevent driving recklessly out of fear, annoyance, or any stress response, it is important for drivers to be aware of their emotional health and stress levels. This is incredibly challenging to accomplish, and if alcohol is used too frequently, it may even make these uncomfortable feelings worse. Even among persons who did not previously experience anxiety or depression, drinking alcohol can have a negative impact on your physical and mental health. Many people use alcohol as a stress reliever because it has a short-term euphoric impact and raises dopamine levels in the brain. When individuals who are already worried, tense, or otherwise stressed drink alcohol, it frequently exacerbates their emotions and makes them harder to control. Negative emotions when driving are likely to affect you more if you have alcohol in your system, yet, you may be less aware of this impairment. Drinking is a dangerous, and inefficient, way to cope with stress. Your mental health will deteriorate the more frequently alcohol disrupts your brain's regular function. You'll start to rely more and more on booze as time goes on to help you cope with your mounting tension or anxiety. Alcohol's ability to temporarily relieve your symptoms will gradually wane, causing you to drink more frequently. Every time you drink, you exacerbate your emotions and further compromise your mental health, creating a vicious cycle. Mental health and alcoholism. One of the worst things you can do for your mental and emotional health is to drink alcohol. Because alcohol causes the brain to generate a surge of the feel-good chemical dopamine, people who are intoxicated frequently have a delusion of contentment and bliss. Then, when they regain consciousness, often the following day, they could feel intense grief, gloom, or indifference. This is because the brain is less receptive to typical dopamine release processes as a result of the dopamine rush caused by alcohol. A hungover individual will be dopamine deficient and will continue to suffer a permanently poor mood until their brain chemicals naturally rebalance. Regular alcohol consumption will abuse your brain's dopamine release mechanisms to the point that it loses the ability to control dopamine levels on its own. The only way to feel better is to consume more booze or use a substance that has a quick fix effect. Unfortunately, if you keep poisoning your body with alcohol and other mind-altering substances, the problem won't go away and will only become worse. Lack of emotional self-control. When driving, losing emotional control might cause you to become distracted, fail to see potential dangers, and make poor decisions. It can be difficult enough to control your emotions without adding alcohol to the equation. Alcohol consumption reduces a person's capacity for self-evaluation and the ability to identify unpleasant emotions when they arise. You may not realize you are driving aggressively, impatiently, or in another risky way when under the influence of alcohol. Even if you are aware of what is happening, there is a good probability that you won't care or won't know how to react. Emotional anguish is made worse by alcohol. After a few drinks, someone who is a little depressed before drinking may become entirely gripped by despair. When alcohol is involved, mild dissatisfaction can develop into wrath and frustration can become acute impatience. These emotions can be fatal when driving. You will become preoccupied with worries that have nothing to do with the task of driving if you are anxious. Additionally, it might make you overreact to minor car accidents, making it more likely that you'll lose control of the vehicle in a dangerous situation. You may speed, tailgate, cut off other motorists, and view other road users as the enemy when you're angry. Sadness is distracting and might cause drivers to make rash decisions and take unsafe actions. When you're impatient, you could act abruptly without giving the problem enough thought. Additionally, it may lead to dangerous passing, speeding, running red lights, and rolling through stop signs. You should keep in mind that whatever emotion you feel when drinking will be amplified. Additionally, your judgment will be compromised, making it more difficult for you to recognize and correct the risky driving behavior brought on by these emotions. Under these circumstances, there is a very high likelihood of conflict with other road users because strong negative emotions like rage, despair, and fear do not encourage civil behavior. Driving under the influence of alcohol causes fatigue, stress, and aggression. Part 3. Reckless driving. Drinkers are frequently exceedingly erratic and prone to losing their cool over trivial slights. As a result, drinking alcohol can occasionally result in irrational, hostile, or even violent conduct. Drinking alcohol would very certainly cause you to make extremely risky judgments behind the wheel if you are already a driver who is prone to aggressive driving. This is an issue for many male drivers, though it can impact both sexes. Alcohol impairment can cause overconfidence, which can cause you to underestimate danger on the road ahead. Additionally, you will experience a loss of inhibitions, which when coupled with hostility, can lead to tailgating, racing other cars, or even attempting to beat a train through a railroad crossing. Driver drowsiness. Alcohol is a depressant of the nervous system. It can make your body slow down to the point that you feel tired even in very small doses. If you are already tired before drinking alcohol, as so many people are, this effect will be even stronger. The most visible and immediate risk of being unconscious while driving arises from feeling sleepy. Even a brief lapse in consciousness can lead to a fatal collision with devastating consequences. Even if you are able to stay awake, driving when fatigued will put you in danger because it will make you less vigilant and conscious of your surroundings. It's possible that you won't notice hazards or significant changes in the driving environment in time to modify your behavior. Impede your judgment and comprehension. Your capacity to comprehend visual cues and make prudent driving choices will decline even further. Reduces your response time and motor skills. You'll move less quickly and precisely, which will lengthen your reaction time and make it more likely that you'll lose control of the vehicle. A potent weapon. In any circumstance, especially when an inebriated driver is at the wheel, automobiles can be lethal weapons. Even the most cautious and safety-conscious driver becomes a risky driver when under the influence of alcohol. In our society, we frequently hear about drunken individuals turning dangerous and hurting others even when they are not driving. Sometimes mistakes are made unintentionally, but far too often, this is the consequence of intentional, emotion-driven aggressiveness. When not controlled, human emotions can be strong, destructive forces. Think about how newborns, toddlers, and young kids act when they don't yet know how to manage their emotions. They frequently yell, snap at others, smash items, and show little care for their own safety. The effects of alcohol on the brain disrupt the emotional self-regulation skills you developed during childhood, making you more likely to overreact to any bad circumstance or emotion. When in this state, it's possible to lose track of anything outside the emotion you're feeling and become unable to distinguish between right and wrong. Thousands of people all throughout the United States suffer tragic repercussions as a result of this mentality every single year. There is a very high likelihood that you will either kill yourself or another person in a serious traffic collision while under the influence of alcohol and spend a very lengthy period in prison. Numerous inmates in jails and prisons across the nation are guilty of this error. Most of them are not inherently bad individuals. They are just regular people who made the poor choice to drive after drinking, and they will now have to live with the consequences of that choice for the rest of their lives. Never undervalue the impact that alcohol will have on your emotional stability and judgment.